Nobody was allowed inside this locked hotel room until one man decided to open it. The film begins by introducing a man named Ohm Bauman, a well-known author who is struggling to finish the final book in his Conquistador trilogy. However, before we get to know Ohm's life any further, the movie first takes us into the story he is writing. Inside the novel, a conquistador can be seen crossing a vast desert alongside a young boy. They are searching for a red circle in the sand, which they believe is a clue leading to their next destination. After finally finding it, they are immediately faced with a new problem. The next clue is hidden inside a glass bottle. Unfortunately, the cork sealing the bottle has been pushed too far inside, making it impossible to easily remove the map contained within. With no tools available to pull the cork back out, the only solution that comes to mind is to break the bottle. Surrounded by nothing but endless sand, they desperately search for something hard enough to smash it open. However, as far as the eye can see, there is nothing but desert with no rocks or solid objects that could help them. Eventually, a horrifying thought enters the conquistador's mind. If the bottle requires something hard to break it, perhaps a human skull could do the job. Slowly, he positions the young boy in front of him and raises the bottle high into the air, seemingly preparing to use the boy's head to shatter it. But just before he can do so, the story is suddenly interrupted by the sound of something falling inside the writer's house.
It's okay. Come here. Just turn away. Be still.
It is then revealed that Ohm has been suffering from writer's block, which is preventing him from finishing the story. There is something deep inside him that keeps pulling his imagination toward tragic endings. While trying to find inspiration with a drink beside him at his desk, Ohm suddenly notices the figure of a woman standing near the staircase in his house. At first, he assumes it is merely a trick of the eye caused by exhaustion. However, when he shines a light toward her, the figure disappears, only to reappear a few seconds later standing directly behind him. It is then revealed that the woman is actually the apparition of his deceased mother. The unsettling encounter prompts Ohm to reopen a box filled with old family belongings. Both of his parents passed away many years ago, and all that remains now are their ashes and the memories they left behind. Inside the box are old photographs taken during his parents' honeymoon at a hotel called Bilberry Woods in Ireland. One of the photos shows his mother standing beside a large tree. Ohm also discovers a locked box containing his father's pistol. Seeing these old possessions seems to awaken memories that he has spent years trying to bury. After what happened that night, Ohm begins to feel compelled to travel to Ireland and scatter his parents' ashes near the tree shown in the photograph, hoping the journey will bring him peace while also serving as a final tribute to his parents. Long story short, Ohm arrives at Bilberry Woods, the very hotel where his parents spent their honeymoon decades earlier. Outside the hotel, he notices a man named Fergal repairing scratches on a car. Nearby lies a goat that has recently been killed with a crossbow. When Ohm questions why it was necessary to kill the animal, Fergal explains that wild goats in the area often damage guests' vehicles. Once inside the hotel, Ohm sees an elderly man named Cobb, the owner of the hotel, telling a story about an old witch to two young boys.
Long, long ago, deep in the woods, a witch. Sometime they took something from a little boy. A hand or a claw would reach out from the dark.
Those your kids?
No.
At the time, it sounds nothing more than a local folktale. At the reception desk, Ohm meets Mal, the hotel manager and Cobb's son-in-law. Mal immediately recognizes Ohm as a famous author and informs him that the hotel will be hosting a Halloween party the following night. Knowing that Ohm has come seeking peace and quiet while also trying to finish his work, Mal offers him a room located far away from the other guests.
Bauman, have a reservation.
Halloween party tomorrow night with live music. Well, we shouldn't hear a thing.
On the way to his room, Ohm is accompanied by one of the hotel employees, Fiona. During their conversation, Ohm shows her an old photograph of his mother and asks if she knows where the large tree in the picture is located. After eventually finding the tree, Ohm respectfully scatters his mother's ashes beneath it. However, when it comes time to scatter his father's ashes, his attitude is noticeably different. It quickly becomes clear that Ohm never had a good relationship with his father while he was alive. On his way back to the hotel, Ohm notices that the goat carcass that had previously been lying outside the hotel has now been dumped deep in the woods. It is there that he unexpectedly encounters a man named Jerry. It is later revealed that Jerry is a local resident who lives alone in an old van parked in the middle of the forest. His disheveled appearance causes most people to see him as nothing more than a homeless drifter. Jerry is also known for having a rather unusual habit. Instead of getting drunk on alcohol, he consumes goat's milk mixed with hallucinogenic mushrooms. Because of this habit, most locals dismiss everything he says as nonsense and refuse to take his stories seriously.
You want a drink? I think I may need something stronger than milk.
Magic mushrooms. Nothing stronger than that. Pick, dry, grind the mushrooms myself.
Thanks for the drink.
Later that evening, Ohm spends some time at the hotel bar with Fiona. During their conversation, Ohm talks about the novel he is currently writing and the dark ending he plans to give it. Fiona feels the ending is far too bleak because it leaves no room for hope. However, Ohm simply shrugs it off. According to him, if the novel were ever adapted into a movie, the filmmakers would probably force a happy ending anyway. Their conversation eventually shifts toward Ohm's past and his family. He explains that his parents spent their honeymoon at this very hotel and absolutely loved the place. They even planned to return one day. Unfortunately, that never happened. Several years later, his mother died after being shot during an incident while returning home from work. Because the person responsible was still a child, punishment was considered far too lenient. As a result, Ohm has carried a deep sense of anger for many years. After his mother's death, his father gradually became an alcoholic and eventually died several years later due to his addiction. During the conversation, Ohm also brings up the honeymoon suite, the room where his parents stayed during their honeymoon. He finds it strange that the room has been sealed off and no longer used. Fiona explains that the honeymoon suite has been locked for many years and that no one is allowed to enter it. According to local legends surrounding the hotel, the old witch from Cobb's story is supposedly imprisoned inside that room. The key is kept exclusively by Cobb and has never been given to anyone else. Interestingly, Fiona is extremely curious about the room. She wants to find out for herself whether the story of the witch is real or merely a legend that has been passed down through generations. In fact, she once asked Mal to steal the key from Cobb, but Mal was far too afraid of his father-in-law to even consider doing something like that. Not long afterward, Fiona shows Ohm a book about Irish folklore. According to the book, anyone who comes face to face with the witch must draw a circle using chalk. As long as they remain inside the circle, the witch will be unable to touch or harm them. Shortly afterward, a bellboy named Albie joins them. Fiona asks him to share a strange experience he once had near the honeymoon suite. According to Albie, one night he was standing near the elevator that leads to the room when the elevator suddenly opened by itself, despite there being no one inside. Even the hat he was wearing was mysteriously blown off his head. Because the inside of the elevator was completely dark, Albie used a gas lighter to illuminate it. But when the light reached the interior, he claims he saw the figure of a woman staring back at him. Despite how unsettling the story sounds, Ohm remains unconvinced. To him, stories about witches, ghosts, and curses are nothing more than nonsense. After the conversation ends, it is revealed that Albie is actually a huge fan of Ohm's work. He dreams of becoming a writer himself and is thrilled to finally meet his idol in person. Excitedly, Albie shows Ohm some of his own writing and hopes to receive advice. Unfortunately, the reaction he gets is far from what he expected. Rather than encouraging him, Ohm seems dismissive and shows little interest in Albie's work. The situation becomes even worse when Ohm takes things too far. While sitting near a candlelit table, he deliberately heats a spoon over the flame. When Albie is not paying attention, Ohm presses the hot spoon against his hand as a joke. The painful prank immediately humiliates and upsets Albie. Although he tries to hide it, it is obvious that he feels deeply disappointed by the man he has admired for so long. After Albie leaves, Ohm returns to his room. Sometime later, while cleaning up the bar area, Fiona realizes that Ohm accidentally left behind a photograph of his mother, along with a tape recorder. Intending to return them, she heads to his room. Strangely, there is no response from inside. Growing concerned that something may have happened, Fiona asks Albie to unlock the door using a spare key. The moment the door opens, both of them are shocked to discover Ohm in critical condition after attempting to take his own life. Somewhere between consciousness and unconsciousness, Ohm experiences what feels like an incredibly vivid dream. He finds himself inside the elevator leading to the honeymoon suite. From somewhere in the distance, he hears a woman crying. The sound grows closer and closer until he suddenly realizes that the figure of his mother is standing directly behind him. Fortunately, Fiona and Albie find Ohm in time, and his life is ultimately saved. After receiving medical treatment, Ohm eventually regains consciousness in the hospital. Once he is fully recovered, he returns to the hotel to collect his belongings. By then, the holiday season has ended, and most of the hotel's activities have already been shut down. Ohm asks Mal about the person who saved him. Mal explains that it was Fiona who found him in his room that night. Wanting to thank her personally, Ohm asks where she is. To his surprise, Mal tells him that Fiona has been missing for several weeks, ever since the Halloween party. He even shows Ohm a newspaper article reporting her disappearance. The police have searched both the hotel grounds and the surrounding forest, but no clues have ever been found. Even more strangely, Jerry's name has become connected to the case. It turns out that the old man living in the van has been a wanted fugitive for years after being suspected of involvement in his wife's death. In addition, Fergal claims that he saw Jerry speaking with Fiona outside the hotel on Halloween night. Mal advises Ohm to forget about the whole thing and return home. If there are any new developments regarding Fiona, he promises to let him know. At first, Ohm intends to leave Ireland. However, just before departing, he discovers a small hacksaw inside his bag. For some reason, the object awakens a strong urge to uncover the truth about what happened to Fiona. As a result, instead of leaving Ireland, Ohm decides to make his way to Jerry's van deep within the forest. Suddenly, Jerry appears and catches Ohm by surprise. The old man explains that the book Ohm found actually belongs to Fiona. According to Jerry, Fiona is the only person at the hotel who has ever treated him with kindness. She often lends him books and spends time talking with him without caring about what other people think. Even so, Ohm remains skeptical. He decides to ask about the rumor that has followed Jerry for years, the accusation that he murdered his own wife. Jerry does not deny it. He admits that he ended her life because he could not bear to watch her suffer from a severe illness for the rest of her life. Whether it is because of the hallucinogenic mushrooms he consumes, or because he truly knows something, Jerry then makes a shocking claim. He says that Fiona is dead. Naturally, Ohm refuses to believe him. However, Jerry goes on to explain that 2 days earlier, he secretly entered the hotel looking for medicine. While inside, he heard the honeymoon suite call bell near the reception desk suddenly ringing on its own. The room had been sealed for years and should have been completely empty. That was when he claims he saw Fiona's spirit standing nearby and pointing toward the honeymoon suite bell. According to Jerry, Fiona's ghost seemed to be trying to show him something and ask for help. To Ohm, the story sounds like nothing more than another hallucination caused by Jerry's mushroom-infused goat's milk, but Jerry appears completely convinced by what he saw. He even reveals that later that night he plans to sneak into the nearly empty hotel and investigate the honeymoon suite. He admits that he has already stolen the key from Cobb's house. Jerry believes that all the answers about Fiona may be hidden inside that room. Feeling indebted to Fiona for saving his life, Ohm eventually agrees to join him.
I think she was trying to tell me to go up there. It has to be at night tonight when the hotel is empty. I'd rather not go alone. I don't know what I'm going to find when I get up there. Would you come with me? There's one more car to pass by my count.
That night, the two quietly enter the hotel after making sure almost everyone has already left. As a precaution, Jerry takes a crossbow from the hotel. However, he never expects Fergal to still be inside the building. Fergal catches him off guard and knocks him unconscious. Fortunately, Ohm is elsewhere and remains unnoticed. From a distance, Ohm can only watch as Fergal loads Jerry's unconscious body into a vehicle and drives away. Now Ohm is completely alone inside the old hotel. Not long afterward, he hears the honeymoon suite call bell ringing again from the reception area. The room should not have been occupied by anyone, yet the bell continues to ring. Although he feels uneasy, his curiosity outweighs his fear. Now that he has access to the key, Ohm decides to continue the investigation on his own. Using the elevator, he finally reaches the room that has been the source of so many strange stories. Inside, the honeymoon suite appears old and neglected. One object immediately catches his attention, an antique clock featuring a small child statue that strikes a bell with a golf club whenever the clock reaches a certain time. Despite searching nearly every corner of the suite, Ohm finds no sign of Fiona. The cold and unsettling atmosphere slowly begins to wear him down. Adding to that, ever since arriving in Ireland, Ohm has rarely gone anywhere without a bottle of liquor and has been drinking constantly. With alcohol still lingering in his system, he eventually falls asleep inside the honeymoon suite. It is then that the truth about his past finally begins to surface. In his dream, Ohm sees himself as a young child. He opens a wooden box belonging to his father and takes out a pistol hidden inside. At first, he treats it like a toy, unaware of the danger it poses. As he examines the pistol, his finger accidentally pulls the trigger. The gun fires, and the bullet strikes his mother in the face while she is standing in the kitchen. Despite her devastating injury, she manages to walk toward him before collapsing beside his shoulder. That is where she takes her final breath. The revelation finally explains why her ghost always appears behind Ohm's shoulder whenever he sees her. That was the position she was in when she died. It also reveals the truth behind a story Ohm previously told Fiona. When he spoke about a child who accidentally shot and killed his mother, he was actually talking about himself. The tragic accident destroyed his entire family. From that day forward, his father never truly forgave him. Their relationship became filled with resentment, blame, and bitterness. Eventually, his father turned to alcohol and drank himself to death years later. Shortly after waking up, Ohm discovers that Mal is standing inside the honeymoon suite. Mal explains that Cobb noticed the key was missing and sent him to investigate. Not wanting any further trouble, Ohm hands the key over and admits that the entire plan was Jerry's idea. Surprisingly, Mal remains calm and shows no sign of anger. He simply tells Ohm to leave and forget everything. However, before leaving, Ohm notices a dumbwaiter, a small service elevator connected to the basement below. When he opens it, he sees a shaft stretching deep underground. Mal's attitude immediately changes. Nervously, he explains that the basement is extremely old and has been sealed off since the hotel was renovated. According to him, there is no reason to investigate it. Unfortunately for Mal, his explanation only makes Ohm even more suspicious. He presses the button to call the dumbwaiter. Slowly, it begins rising from below. Ohm is horrified to discover Fiona's decomposed body inside. Realizing his secret has been exposed, Mal immediately flees and locks Ohm inside the honeymoon suite. The film then flashes back to Halloween night while Fiona was still alive. That evening, Fiona and Mal are talking near the reception area. Fiona appears deeply troubled. It is eventually revealed that she is pregnant with Mal's child. The problem is that Mal already has a wife and children. Not only is he afraid of destroying his family, but he is also terrified that Cobb will discover their relationship. Because of this, Mal desperately tries to convince Fiona to terminate the pregnancy. Fiona refuses. Feeling cornered and convinced he has no other choice if he wants to keep their affair secret, Mal secretly slips sleeping pills into Fiona's drink until she loses consciousness. He then carries her to the honeymoon suite using a key he previously stole from Cobb. Once there, he places Fiona inside the dumbwaiter and lowers her into the abandoned basement below. What makes the situation even more horrifying is that there is no button in the basement to call the dumbwaiter back up. The only control control is located upstairs. In other words, Fiona is trapped underground with no way out and is left there to die alone. Realizing that he is trapped with no obvious way out, Ohm begins searching for a means of escape.
Hey! Who's there?
However, the longer he remains inside the room, the more disturbing events he experiences. From different corners of the suite, he hears the sound of a woman crying, as if the voice is constantly moving around him. Every now and then, he catches glimpses of a figure resembling his mother standing behind him. The lights begin flickering before shutting off on their own, while an old television that had been turned off suddenly comes to life without anyone touching it. In the reflection of the screen, Ohm briefly sees the silhouette of someone standing behind him, but when he turns around, no one is there. Moments later, the television turns on again and begins playing a children's show that Ohm used to watch when he was young. Strangely, the characters seem to know about his past and start mocking him, while blaming him for his mother's death.
My name is Ohm Bowman. Your dad told you not to go near his gun. I was playing with my dad's gun. My mom died last, and his wife got her brain blown out.
The bizarre occurrences continue until Ohm notices miniature versions of the conquistador and the young boy from the novel he has been writing. The boy points toward a specific direction, as if trying to guide him somewhere. Following the clue, Ohm discovers a map of the hotel and realizes there may still be a way out through the basement connected to the dumbwaiter. The discovery gives him a glimmer of hope. He then remembers the antique clock inside the honeymoon suite. Whenever a certain time arrives, the small statue attached to the clock automatically strikes a bell. Using this mechanism, Ohm devises a plan to trigger the dumbwaiter automatically so that he will not become trapped in the basement forever. After carefully putting his plan together, Ohm descends into the basement using the dumbwaiter. Down there, he finds various objects hanging from the ceiling. Not long afterward, the tape recorder suddenly switches on by itself. From the recording, Fiona's frightened and desperate voice can be heard pleading for help. She repeatedly says that something is down there with her in the basement. In the background, the sound of footsteps can be heard slowly approaching her.
I think there's someone down here.
For the first time, Ohm begins to suspect that the story of the witch he has always dismissed as nonsense might actually be real. Terrified, he quickly heads back toward the dumbwaiter. Along the way, he notices the drawing of a door made from chalk on one of the walls. However, what truly catches his attention is a piece of chalk lying nearby. He immediately remembers Fiona's story that a chalk circle can protect someone from the witch. Moments later, strange noises once again emerge from the darkness. Just as the terrifying figure begins approaching him, the dumbwaiter finally activates according to his plan and carries him back up to the honeymoon suite.
Hello?
The witch follows him by crawling up through the elevator shaft. Panicking, Ohm runs into the bedroom and quickly draws a chalk circle around the bed. He then hides behind the curtains while watching the witch wander through the room. No matter how many times the creature approaches, it is unable to touch Ohm as long as he remains inside the chalk circle. Meanwhile, Jerry finally regains consciousness after being attacked by Fergal. Convinced that Ohm needs help, he immediately returns to the hotel. At the same time, Mal also arrives with the intention of killing Ohm before any more of his secrets are exposed. When Mal sees Jerry near the locked elevator entrance, he lies and claims that Ohm left the hotel the previous night. At first, Jerry believes him and nearly walks away. However, Ohm, who is still trapped inside the honeymoon suite, manages to ring the call bell, allowing Jerry to hear it.
Not there, I swear to you, I looked. Are you sure you checked that room? I mean,
Just go, Jerry, and don't come back.
Realizing something is wrong, Jerry threatens Mal with an axe and forces him to hand over the key to the elevator leading to the honeymoon suite. After obtaining the key, Jerry unlocks the security gate and rides the elevator up in an attempt to rescue Ohm. Unfortunately, he fails to notice that Mal follows him upstairs. Before Jerry can save Ohm, Mal ambushes him and kills him with a crossbow bolt. After eliminating Jerry, Mal plans to leave the hotel and allow the fire he has already started to destroy all evidence of his crimes. However, when he attempts to use the elevator again, he realizes he has made a critical mistake. The key to the elevator's security gate is still on Jerry's body. As a result, Mal cannot simply leave and is forced to go back and retrieve it. Unbeknownst to him, Ohm has already found the key first. The situation suddenly reverses. Earlier, Ohm was the one trapped with no way out. Now it is Mal who finds himself cornered. His only chance of escaping the burning hotel is to take the key back from Ohm. However, Ohm already has a plan of his own. Realizing that Mal will never stop hunting him as long as he possesses the key, Ohm deliberately descends back into the basement. He hopes that Mal will follow him and come face to face with the entity that has been haunting the hotel all this time. Sure enough, Mal eventually follows him downstairs, but the situation quickly spirals out of control. As Ohm attempts to draw a protective chalk circle around himself, he is unable to finish it in time. The witch emerges from the darkness and chains him up before he can complete it. Mal, who had been so confident moments earlier, suffers the same fate. Both men are now completely helpless before the creature. Not long afterward, the witch drags Mal toward the chalk door that Ohm had previously seen drawn on the basement wall. The door turns out to be far more than a simple drawing. From beyond it come horrifying screams and cries, as if countless tormented souls are trapped on the other side. It appears to be a gateway to another realm. Mal is dragged toward the door, while Ohm, still bound in chains, nearly shares the same fate. At that very moment, the spirit of his mother appears before him once again. For the first time, Ohm finally confesses the burden he has carried for so many years. He tells her that her death was nothing more than a tragic accident and apologizes for everything that happened. His mother simply replies that she already knows. Those few words seem to lift a weight that has haunted Ohm his entire life. Before disappearing, she touches the chest pocket of his jacket, the exact place where he has been carrying the small hacksaw. Only then does Ohm understand what she is trying to tell him. He quickly retrieves the hacksaw and uses it to cut through the chains binding him, finally setting himself free. After escaping, Ohm grabs the key and rushes toward the dumbwaiter. However, by the time he reaches the upper floor, the hotel is already in far worse condition. The fire Mal started has spread throughout the building, and thick smoke fills the hallways, making it difficult to breathe. Although Ohm has escaped the witch, he eventually loses consciousness from smoke inhalation. Fortunately, Fergal arrives just in time and manages to find him before it is too late. Sometime later, Ohm wakes up in a hospital. This time, Albie is the one visiting him. From Albie, he learns that the bodies of Fiona and Jerry were eventually recovered from the ruins of the hotel. However, the strangest part is that Mal's body is never found anywhere among the wreckage or in the surrounding area. After that, Albie finally confesses something he has been hiding. Still angry about the incident where Ohm burned his hand with a heated spoon, he secretly mixed Jerry's hallucinogenic mushroom powder into Ohm's bottle of whiskey.
They found remains, Fiona and Jerry.
Mal,
They're looking for it.
you been to the hotel?
I need to tell you something. Jerry's mushroom powder. Snuck into your room and I put it in the flask. I spiked it. Did you drink it?
Yeah. Why would you do that?
You burnt my hand. That hurt.
Hearing this revelation leaves Ohm questioning everything he experienced. Was the witch actually real? Or were all the strange events merely hallucinations caused by the mushrooms that had been mixed into his drink? Yet, when he looks at his wrist, he can still see the marks left behind by the chains that restrained him in the basement. That physical evidence makes the answer far more difficult to dismiss. After everything is over, Ohm finally manages to finish the ending of the novel that had kept him trapped in writer's block for so long. The film then returns to the conquistador and the young boy standing in the middle of the desert. This time, the conquistador still holds the bottle that cannot be opened, but he no longer intends to sacrifice the child. Instead, he offers himself in the boy's place. However, the boy refuses. Rather than harming anyone, he throws the bottle into the distance and embraces the conquistador. Moments later, the bottle lands beside a goat skull. There, they finally find the hard object they need without having to hurt each other. The new ending reflects the transformation Ohm has gone through. For years, he blamed himself for his mother's death, and that guilt unknowingly shaped both his life and every story he wrote. But after confronting the truth he had spent so long avoiding, Ohm finally begins to accept that what happened was a terrible accident, not something he intended. Even so, the film leaves behind one question that is never fully answered. Was the witch haunting the hotel truly real, or was everything Ohm experienced simply the result of the hallucinogenic mushrooms mixed into his drink? The film deliberately leaves that question open, allowing the audience to decide for themselves. And with that, the story comes to an end.